Okay, so yet another video on this old Aiwa component system. I just have to show you my problem if I can get this thing plugged in somewhere at least. May have to unplug the computer that's currently charging to do this. Plug in the unit. Turns on the clock. CD volume 15. Turn it to tuner just so you can see. Turn it up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The volume control skips a little bit and stops a little bit. What this is this volume control is what we call a rotary digital encoder, a pulse type rotary digital encoder. And what this volume control does, pretty much, is it will sense pulse in the direction that you turn it. So, let's just say if I turn it one way, it'll sense pulse and turn the volume up. If I turn it the other way, it'll sense the pulse and turn the volume down. So, the first step in taking this apart is removing all these plastic panels. That would be 2 screws for this side panel, 2 screws for the top panel, and 2 more screws for the other side panel. Okay, so now that I've removed all the screws, in my case the first panel will come off will be this side panel. And I'm going to actually use this to hold my screws in these little compartments that it gives me. Those screws are the same type. All 4 of these are the same type. And if we can find a gear down here, there it is. I don't know if I'm turning it the right way. Yes, I am. I can get that to open. The next step will be, because we will need that to open we will need that open later. So now that comes off. Don't worry, it didn't crack. I have cracked it before, but it didn't crack that time. And this part right here, then this other side panel will of course come off. The next step will be, this is why we have the disc changer open, just so you know, prying off this front panel, then we can close it again. Yes, this is the CD changer that I fixed in the previous video. Take off the 2 screws on the side like this, which are countersunk, so it's good to put them in a different compartment. And the 2 normal silver shiny rounded screws in the back. With those 4 screws out, let me just check to make sure that one's out. Yes, it is. We can now pull that back and take out our CD changer, which is now held in by these 2 ribbon cables. They don't have a release thing, so you can just pull them out. Put the CD changer aside. The next step will be to remove every single screw on this back panel, which are all the common type that goes in this area right here. With all those, whatever it was, 8 screws or something out, this panel can then be removed. We want to put those terminals in to remove it. You can see now we've got the next step. We've got our next step. And of course, our next step is going to be the removal of this front panel, which in my case is not very complex. there are 3 screws on the bottom of this panel. Again, the common screws are used here, I believe. No, these ones are shorter, so they go in a different pile. Yeah, they're all the same size. I know why there's all sorts of screw holes in this metal, but now the next thing that we have to do is, I'm pretty sure that this panel just comes off the motherboard. In some way. If it doesn't, then I'm not sure. Okay, so I backtracked a little bit, put on the 3 screws down there again, reinstalled that, and undid the screws for the motherboard. Had to unplug that particular wire, and to get the motherboard out is something we have to do first. There's a little tiny switch back there that you have to kind of trip to, and then just unplug it from the other board, and you can see now the board's just hanging there, and it's okay to keep it like this. Now we can remove this board, which has all of these same type of screws on it. The common type of screw that you keep seeing in the other parts. Okay, so after removing a ridiculous amount of screws, we can now press these tabs in and remove them and remove the kind of, it's not quite the motherboard, but it's sort of it's the front control board. The volume knob will fall out. That's normal. And we should unplug this plug. And you can see here we got our board. And here we got the part that is the volume knob. And we will have to take this component apart. We will have to take this particular component apart, and I do know what's inside of it. Okay, so the rotary digital encoder is pretty much our volume control. When we take it apart, we've got these kind of notches in here, and these sort of, if I can get that in focus, teeth or something on here. I have to try to get that in focus for you. The little tiny teeth around that circle. Right there. What I had to do is, those teeth were getting worn out over time and they were sinking in. So I had to bend them out a little bit, and that should fix our problem. That's the poor man's fix for this problem, as they call it. The other way to fix this would be to just replace the part, but I don't really know how to solder onto a circuit board that well. So I'm just doing the basics and fixing the part that we already have, so pretty much I'm going to just be resoldering that, and I'm going to be putting the unit back together and seeing how it works. Okay, so we're back. This unit is not being hooked up to any speakers right now, but as you can see, volume control works perfectly fine now. So, it's a little fix of this Aiwa. It's the second fix I've done in a very short time. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Bye. See you in my next video.